Gentlemen, let's get real for just a second. How often have you thought to yourself, am I truly delivering the sort of pleasure that she truly desires? It's hardly the kind of thing you'd bring up with your buddies during coffee, and you won't come across a straightforward response in too many spots on the internet. After all, the realm of porn and that whole locker room swagger has served up way more falsehoods than facts to guys when it comes to matters of sex. Here's the straight talk. The manner in which you shift, the style of your thrusts, and how you manage your own control during intimacy can spell the gap between leaving her subtly unfulfilled or sparking her body and spirit to ignite in a fashion that has her returning time and again. I aim to guide you toward that latter route. Right now, I'm about to share with you 5 techniques grounded in medical evidence and drawn from real life that any guy ought to master to right away enhance closeness, extend your endurance, and genuinely provide her with the encounter she desires, rather than the version you assume she does. So prior to jumping in, pause for an instant here. Tap that like button, sign up for this channel if it's your first time, and leave a fast comment letting me know where you're tuning in from. I truly enjoy watching the global brotherhood of fellows unite right here. Alright, now let's debunk a handful of those myths, and after that, we'll plunge into the 5 insights that women hope more guys would grasp. First up, the myth. Sex revolves around size and speed. That's the vibe that dudes absorb from porn. Bigger, quicker, tougher. Yet in truth, that doesn't deliver genuine fulfillment for the majority of women. Research paints a whole other picture. Actually, investigations repeatedly demonstrate that for females, it's technique, that emotional bond and genuine attentiveness that matter way more than dimensions or how long you can hammer on relentlessly. Consider it from a biological angle. The woman's form reacts to patterns, diversity, clitoral touch, and that sense of emotional being there, not non-stop slamming. Still, plenty of solid guys lug around this quiet worry, convinced they're falling short somehow. And that worry creeps into the bedroom, causing you to wrap up prematurely, to get trapped in your thoughts, to overlook the cues she's sending. So, let's set things straight. You don't have to be larger. What you need is to be sharper, more engaged, and more synced with her physical responses. And that's precisely where my role fits in. If this is your introduction to the channel, I'm Dr. Narita. As a board-certified urologist with a dozen years under my belt in hands-on work with men's wellness and sexual matters, I've chatted with countless guys, men in their 30s, 50s, 70s, who all circle back to that core query, phrased uniquely each time. How do I step up my game in bed? How can I hold out longer? How do I ensure my partner's truly content? And after those 12 years, I can assure you of this much. There's a clear trend. The fellows who nail it aren't necessarily the buffest, the freshest faced, or the most generously equipped. They happen to be the ones who tune in, who adjust, and who put into play a select few strategies that align with a woman's biology instead of clashing with it. So let's roll right into those 5 transformative tips. Tip number 1. Begin gently. Allow me to pose this. When you first enter that intimate space, what's your go-to reaction? For the average man, excitement ramps up fast, and the impulse is to plunge straight ahead with vigor and pace. But here's the catch. The female physique just isn't wired that way. From a biological standpoint, women require more time to reach full arousal. Those vaginal tissues have to ease and widen gradually. Circulation has to ramp up in her pelvic area. Natural wetness builds step by step. Should you charge in too aggressively, too soon, her system might not be set. That leads to unease, potentially outright soreness, and on the emotional side, it risks making her feel apart from the moment. So what's the remedy? Patience. Ease in. Picture it as the warm-up phase before hitting the gym. Soft, intentional movements to start with limited depth. Center on that sense of nearness and bond. What unfolds on a biological level? Her blood vessels widen. The entrance to her vagina opens up organically, and those nerve tips heighten in sensitivity. On the emotional front, she senses being valued. In terms of real application, you're laying the groundwork for ecstasy that escalates rather than fades away. Believe me, dialing back the speed from the outset will open doors to greater fervor down the line. Tip number 2. Build her anticipation. This is the spot where so many guys overlook a prime chance. Edging her along is among the strongest assets at your disposal. Why does it pack such a punch? Well, because erotic delight isn't solely about direct touch. It's equally about the build-up of expectation. As you ramp up her excitement and then intentionally ease off briefly, her whole system yearns for the return. You're essentially training her neural pathways to fire even stronger once you resume. Here's the practical breakdown. Locate the cadence she's obviously into. Hold steady with it a while, then purposefully dial it back. Briefer motions, reduced force. Observe her physical cues closely. She might twist a bit, draw you in tighter, or outright plead for escalation. The instant you circle back to that original pace, the sensations amplify. That said, a quick heads up. Avoid pulling back just as she's on the brink of release. That could come off as snatching away her peak. Edging shines brightest in the initial stages to foster that craving. Frame it like this. Would you prefer to offer her one fleeting flicker, or to ignite a blaze that sustains itself? Edging delivers the blaze. Tip number 3. Switch up your pace. This is an error I witness from men constantly. They hit upon a groove that hits right, and then they lock into it rigidly. Identical penetration depth, identical tilt, identical velocity. It holds up for a stretch, but adaptation sets in. Those nerves go numb over time. Something that electrified 5 minutes prior begins to feel routine. The answer? Mix it up. At times go languid and profound, at others swift and surface level. Occasionally, halt completely and shift your stance. Biologically speaking, this sustains nerve alertness. Emotionally, it leaves her intrigued in the most thrilling manner. From a hands-on view, it aids your endurance management, since you're not burning out on a single routine. So keep this in mind. A steady beat is solid, but mixing keeps the harmony vibrant. Tip number 4. Incorporate grinding beyond mere thrusting. This one's a true shifter. The majority of men view sex as purely that back and forth invasion. But let me let you in on the key. For the bulk of women, it's the clitoris, rather than the vaginal interior, that serves as the prime hub of sensation. And the clitoris extends beyond that visible tip. It's an extensive formation that stretches beneath the surface, encircling the vaginal passage. Which implies that as you align your pelvis to hers, opting for grind over pure thrust, you're engaging a vast web of neural pathways. Experiment with this in setups like missionary, or with her leading from above. Emphasize those grinding actions, circular sweeps, targeted presses, or consistent sways. Hold your pelvis snug, sustain that solid press. Biologically, you're tapping her peak responsive neural grid. Emotionally, she experiences being wrapped up and profoundly linked. Practically, grinding extends your staying power, since it dials down the direct buzz for you compared to rapid pistoning. That's mutual gain. She receives amplified bliss, and you secure greater command. Tip number 5. Stay attuned. If nothing else from this video sticks with you, let this one lodge deep. Stay attuned. Your top asset in the bedroom isn't your girth, your staying power, or even these methods themselves. It's your attentiveness to her breaths, her vocalizations, the manner in which her form shifts with yours. These serve as ongoing indicators of what lands well and what misses the mark. No two women align perfectly. Something that clicked with a past lover might fall flat with the current one. Porn skips over this lesson. Barstool Tales skip it too, but her physique will reveal it all if you tune in. Biologically, staying synced lets you calibrate to her excitement phases on the fly. Emotionally, it signals your profound investment. Practically, it shields you from slipping into mechanical loops that dull the edge for you both. Being fully there holds the real strength. Don't merely cycle through the steps. Engage alongside her. So, let's weave this all into a straightforward blueprint. Ease in slowly. Allow her system to heat up. Edge her in the early going. Foster that craving. Blend your rhythms. Diversity outshines repetition. Grind alongside your thrusts. Heighten her delight while securing your own restraint. Remain engaged. Tune in, modify, and react. Rehearse these 5 elements, and shifts will emerge nearly at once. Not only in her responses, but in your self-assurance too. Now, I'll hold off briefly since I recognize that a few of you might be under some strain. Perhaps you've battled endurance issues in the past. Perhaps you've sensed disappointing a companion. Perhaps you're concerned that age has left you behind your peak. Allow me to lay out the facts. Improvements never out of reach, no matter the timeline. I've guided men through their 60s, 70s, even 80s who learned that, armed with solid approaches and a touch of wellness focus, they could outshine their younger selves as partners. This journey isn't a hunt for flawlessness. It's centered on engagement, linkage, and minor tweaks that yield major shifts. So, take that breath. You're not flawed, you're evolving. And that mindset alone elevates you beyond the pack. Gentlemen, here's the core truth. Women aren't seeking a show, they seek a shared journey. When you ease the pace, edge along, diversify, incorporate grinding, and genuinely attune yourself, you're delivering more than mere delight. You're offering security, assurance, and a true bond. And as a result, you'll witness her longing, her faith, and her fervor expand toward you. That's no sleight of hand. That's embodying the man who gets that authentic closeness spans the physical and the heartfelt. So, the next occasion you're alongside your partner, skip wondering, do I measure up? Instead, reflect. Am I hearing her? Am I forging that link? Am I shaping this instant around our shared space, beyond just my own? If yes rings true, you're already outpacing what 90% of guys manage. Now, should this have clicked for you, remember to like the video. It truly aids in spreading this guidance to fellow men. Subscribe here to catch every bit of the wellness and closeness counsel that truly impacts. And leave a note down below. Share which tips struck deepest or pose a query for me to tackle in an upcoming piece. Keep in mind, your years don't dictate your energy. Tiny shifts unlock liberty, poise, and fulfillment. I'm Dr. Narita, and I'll catch you in the following video. Prioritize your well-being, your form, and your bonds, since you merit no less.